Start with pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the council meeting to order. Approval for the agenda with one additional administrative item.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda with one additional administrative item.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discuss and take further action on bond rating. George from Northland Securities is on the line.
Yep, George is on the phone right now. Hi, George. So if you want to approach the council with what you have for the bond rating?
Sure, absolutely. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Sorry I'm not with you tonight. Thank you for letting me join you from afar. I explained to Chris earlier why I'm not there, but thank you. And Chris, did the city council get a copy of the bond sale summary?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Mayor and council, I'll refer to that document and do it. Am I loud enough for the group?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So, should I just go right into the sales summary, and then as part of that, there's the reference to the bond rating. So Mayor, Council, if that's okay, maybe I'll just have you turn to the second page, the first page after the cover, so I think you probably understand the purpose of the bonds. I've been talking to Chris for a number of months leading up to the city council meeting on some water projects that have been ongoing, and then you need this amount of financing in this bond issue to help basically finance the remainder of those projects. So entirely water projects, and we ran through a number of scenarios earlier where we looked at financing terms from 10 years out to 15 years. City Council settled at 12 years for a financing term a while back. So that's where we've got your bond structure, where it's level debt service or close to level over a 12-year term. So these are general obligation bonds, which the city certainly has issued before for, not only the building that you're sitting in, but water and sewer related projects as well. So what that means, general obligation, is that the full faith and credit of the city is standing behind those bonds. That's the security that you give to the other side of the equation, which is the people that purchase your bonds as an investment. The city doesn't give like a mortgage on your water utility. Instead, you provide a general obligation pledge, which is the best type of security that the municipality can provide. So, on your rating results, then, City Council, we've got prior to this bond sale, the city had an underlying rating of A+. Just as a little refresher, how the bond rating ladder, if you will, works is at the bottom is like non-rated, and even below that is non-investment grade. So those are, municipalities that, for a variety of reasons, might be less than investment grade. And so that's certainly not Adelia. But as we move from non-rated up, there's the A category. Above the A category is AA, then the highest is AAA. And within each category, so within the A category, there's the minus. So there's A minus, then there's A, and then A plus is the top of the A category. And then above, the next step higher from Adelia is into the AA category. So, but A plus is a good bond rating for the city based upon a variety of factors. But what this bond was able to be enhanced and further securitized beyond your A plus rating, the state of Minnesota has a credit enhancement program, which the city has utilized before on bonds issued in 2021, and some water and sewer related debt. This credit enhancement program allows you to sell your bonds at a AAA bond rating with that underlying rating of A+ assigned as well. So it's a really nice program for utility-related projects and state-qualified housing projects, etc. There's a few other purposes that are eligible, but it allows your rating to be, or your bonds rather, to be sold with a higher credit rating, which drives down the interest rates. So that's really a positive. You have passed a couple of, during the process here, you passed a resolution to enter into the credit enhancement program. So that's something that you did at a previous city council meeting. So there's a few highlights that Standard & Poor's referenced in the bond rating report, and we've summarized them here on this page. One is, the city's had a recent history of balanced operations, so that's certainly a positive. Your general fund reserves, your fund balance, if you will, is above 50%. That's certainly that's especially important for smaller municipalities, because they range from the smallest communities up to the largest, and so it's important to have those reserves at a certain level and maintain them above your policy level. So, and then the final one I'll just note is the experienced management team, and your administrator Chris did a very nice job preparing for the call. Certainly, she's done this before. On several occasions, actually, on previous bond issues, and prepared well for the calls. Did a very nice job responding to the questions that Standard & Poor's had as part of the rating process. So those are probably the highlights. Again, historically balanced operations, good fund balances, and strong management. Those are kind of the key factors that were led up to that assignment of an A+ rating. Mayor and Council, any questions at this point?
No.
Okay, sounds perfect. So the bottom part of the page is just a little bit about the results of the bond sale. And so the very bottom, the true interest cost, 3.9%. I'll actually turn the page, if you don't mind, to the next page. The bottom chart where it says Exhibit B pricing summary, that's I'll explain, there's a couple of different columns here, and this is not any different than when we sold bonds on previous bond issues, that the interest rates may be different, but the methodology of how investors bid is similar, where investors want to earn at a higher rate of return than the market. And so the yield column, where it starts at 3.25% and gradually goes up to 3.75% out in the 12th year, that's the market for an A+ underlying AAA enhanced bond issue. The investors want to earn at that higher rate of return, which is a lot of years it's at 5% and then it's at 4%. And so, but the investors have to pay for that. And there's a line item that's 2 down where it says reoffering premium or discount, $35,225. And so that's the interest cost of what the investors have to pay. They have to pay a premium of roughly $35,000 to earn at a higher rate of return. And that comes into the bond issue as revenue to the city. What we do with that money then is we put it into the overall bond issue as a source of funds. So previously, when we started the bond issue, you were sized at a bond right around $900,000. And so now you have bond premium as one of your sources of funds. So now we downsize the funds. So not to get into too much discussion about how this works, but so you're going to be paying your debt service is going to be calculated upon that higher coupon interest rate, but now you're borrowing less money. So it works out as a wash, if you will, to the city, where that's the effect of how the premium works is we apply it to the principal so you borrow less money. And any questions, Mayor, City Council, on that?
No.
Okay, perfect. So the end result, if you will, is you still net the same amount of money, $850,000 that you need for the project costs themselves. And so nothing changes there. It's just the bond premium, changes the principal amount of bonds. So thank you for letting me explain that a little bit. I'll just hit a couple more highlights back on that first page. Closing date, that's the date that the money is available. So November 20th is when we wire funds into your city account. The final maturity again is 12 years out, February 1 of 2037. An optional call, what that means is that's the date when you can prepay on the principal, or if interest rates are lower, potentially you refinance on the bonds once you reach that date and any date thereafter. So at about at that time in 2032, you've paid about half of your principal. So, and that's something we always keep an eye on with your staff, is letting them know how you're doing on your outstanding debt. Is there opportunities to refinance or not? So that's something we don't look to your administrator to necessarily track that. We'll track that with them. So, but that is the overview of the financing. And again, any questions, Mayor, City Council?
So I do have one question. Just want to make sure I understand this, and I apologize if I'm wasting people's time here, but so underlying S&P rating is an A+. What would be better than that? And what would we do differently to get it better than that?
Double A.
Yeah, what would be better than A+? One notch higher. So you're at the top end of the A category. So it goes A, double A, triple A.
Yep,
Triple A is the very top. That's the the large issuers, the bigger municipalities with a broad tax base. Very good question though about why do we fall into the A plus? And in the rating report, they talk about upside and downside. And for a municipality like Medina, typically a downside scenario, meaning that these are things that if you did certain actions or had certain elements or let's say you had a lot more debt outstanding, or all of a sudden the major employers closed. These would be things that might lead to a downturn. If you spent down your fund balance below your policy level, those might be things that could lead to that A+ going lower. On the other side, what could lead to the rating going higher? And some of these, admittedly, are outside of the city's control. The thing with Medelia, you have a number of your bond issues are what's called self-supporting debt. So you've got this water bond that you're considering tonight. You've got other water and sewer bonds as well. Those are actually backed out of the debt equation. So because your utilities pay for those and you don't levy taxes for those. So that's good. So you don't have a high debt burden because of the utilities paying their own way. But some of the things that it does reference one thing. I'll just read it right here. We could take a positive rating action if economic metrics were to improve significantly while the city maintains its general fund reserve levels. Now, economic metrics, again, those are things that might be like median household income. And those are things that that are kind of related to Madelia. That's, if you look at, what's the median income in town, median purchasing power, some of those demographic statistics that the rating agency looks at, and then they compare you to not only your A+ related counterparts, but also those that are one notch up at the AA- level. And so those across the board might have median household incomes, for example, that have a higher incomes, higher valuations, etc. A little broader tax base, a little larger population. So that's where Chris and I had a good conversation with the analyst about things like that. And kind of the strong message that we were getting from them is that Madelia is really kind of in a spot where it should be at that A+ level. And there's certain things that truly over time, if the debt burden, which I don't even use the word burden in your case, because again, backing out all of the utility related debt means that you have a modest debt burden or a fair debt burden. But I think that some of those things that, again, it may take a while, even if there's new housing starts, et cetera, to lift up some of those demographic scores. So I know that was a very long-winded response to your question, but mainly it's demographics that keep you at that A+ as opposed to one notch higher. Did that address your question?
Absolutely did. Thank you so much.
Sure. Well, Mayor and Council, I appreciate your time, and thank you again for letting me call into your meeting. The only action that I've got for you this evening is the resolution. Approving the resolution locks in the rates and terms, everything that we went through on that sheet, the interest rates, the call dates, et cetera. So, please let me know if you have any questions before you consider the resolution.
Okay. Questions, anybody? No?
No, sir.
I think that's it.
Okay, George, there's no questions. Now we will go into the resolutions, and the first resolution on the agenda is the 2024-21 bond series 2024A water utility revenue.
Okay. So I'll hang on for that and then see if there's any questions.
We got a motion on,
I would make a motion that we approve 2024-21 bond series 2024A water utility revenue.
I'll second that.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
George, do you want a roll call vote also for
No,
that?
no need for that.
Okay. Other than that, George, do we have anything else?
No, the only, like I'm sure you have already told the mayor, just have one purchase agreement before 9 a.m. tomorrow. If we can get a signed copy, that's perfect.
Actually, everything has been signed, and I'll send it your way to you and Carrie right after this.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Chris, and appreciate mayor and council the time to, share with you the bond sale information, and I appreciate your questions.
Thanks, George.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Go on to resolution 2024-22, certifying unpaid charges and special assessments.
I'll make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Resolution 2024-23, and this would be accepting a donation from the Madelia Fire Relief.
Into the Alliance savings for equipment.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution as well.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Administrative items, discuss and take appropriate action on pay request number 3 of well number 4 and well number 6 in the amount of $149,631.17. And who's that to?
Trout.
Trout?
Make a motion to approve that pay request. I'll second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discuss and take appropriate action on CETA contract for 2025. This is for 3 days a week, and it comes in at $69,121.
I make a motion to approve that contract. I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Citizens communication. Tomorrow, there's a meeting here.
Like 6 o'clock.
Joint meeting at 6. And next Tuesday, November 5th, voting starts at 8 a.m. 7 a.m.
7 to 8.
7 to 8.
But early voters have to go to the county. So if you want to do early voting, you have to go over to the county. We do not have early voting here.
Take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.